Good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग सर, गुड इवनिंग जी। बस थोड़ी देर च ਆਪਾਂ ज्वाइन ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ।
जी बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल, डेफिनेटली।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
गुड इवनिंग जी, गुड इवनिंग।
हाँ जी, मैं डॉक्टर कुलदीप कुमार सर।
हाँ जी कुलदीप जी, नमस्कार।
हाँ जी, नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार जी। आपका तो इतना अच्छा तरीका है सर समझाने का। मैं क्योंकि मैं ब्लाइंड पर्सन हूँ, तो
ओह,
तो मैं ना मतलब उसमें तो नहीं देख पाता।
you are not a blind person. Please don't tell like this way. You are very enlightened person.
शुरू कर दिए।
थैंक यू
You
सर।
are very enlightened person. You can see what we cannot see.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
That's the truth.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक।
We are just blind with the materialistic world. Right, sir? Please, over to you, sir.
Okay. On behalf of Search and IPR Cell of Khalsa College Patiala, I once again welcome Dr. Pawan Kumar ji. On this last evening of this research methodology workshop, I request Madam Komal also that we want an experience with Dr. Pawan Kumar, not by this method, by physically also. So in the near future, I want,
Sure, sir.
I wish we have a workshop with physical appearance of yours.
True,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
True.
Thank you.
And moreover, sir, I belong to Patiala.
Oh,
my
it's very nice.
native home is Patiala.
Okay,
so I would be really happy to be there in person.
Okay. Mostly, so we will plan within few months.
And I would likely to mention here that we will not take SPSS. We will take through R software.
R software, yes.
The reason being because R is free software, open source software. It is open source software. Yes.
Moreover, the people from science background also using that R software.
Yes. So that will be more learning for them and and for me also.
Okay.
Right,
Over
Thank
to
you,
Dr.
Sir.
Pawan Kumar ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So very good evening to the organizers, and a very good evening to the aspiring participants of research. Sorry. So as you know that today is our last day of this FDP, And I tried my level best to acquaint you with the different types of scale, and what are the essentials of a questionnaire. And then we discussed about the parametric test and non-parametric test. And also we did the one technique which is very that is discriminant analysis. So today I am going to go with the factor analysis, right? So factor analysis will be the technique which we are going to cover today in the next hours. So, okay, let me share my screen first. Then I hope the screen is visible to you. I'm sure that the screen is visible to you. You can just write
Yes,
in the
sir.
chat
It's
box yes
visible.
or no. Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right. So one thing is very clear that being a professor and being a teacher, I would likely to mention here that research should generate good teaching practice. Research should generate good teaching practice, and teaching should be based on a good research practices. I think you must be agree with me this thing. And you know, research creates your teaching methodology, your teaching pedagogy, you know, more appealing when you actually imbibe research in teaching. Okay, right? So that's very, very important that you don't teach research just for the sake of research, but teach the research from the perspective of industry, from the perspective of society, from the perspective of the overall, you know, the stakeholders, right? So, you know, when we do a research, so there are two researches. With one is quantitative research and qualitative research. So I'm just recapitulating the things in that we discussed in the last 5 days. So there are two types of research. One is quantitative research and qualitative research. So quantitative research, our target is from subject to object. Please note down, our target is from subject to object. But in case of the qualitative research, our target is object to subject. Like when I talk about the qualitative research, we observe like a kid. Okay, we observe like a kid, like, when the kids observe something, they observe, in depth. They ask you the questions. They sometimes ask you that what is the meaning of this word, this term, this terminology. So observe like a kid. But in the quantitative research, our focus is from subject to object. Generally, we go with the approach which is called the deductive approach. There are two types of approaches: deductive approach and inductive approach. In the deductive approach, the researcher focus from that is from the data to theory to data, whereas in the inductive approach it is reverse. Okay, vice versa. So today the technique which I am going to teach you is a multivariate analysis, which is called factor analysis, and factor analysis is also called principal component analysis. So what is the outcome of the session? The session's outcome is that we are going to understand, after this session, you will be able to understand the concept of factor analysis, and you will be able to generate SPSS sheet. SPSS sheet means data entry, the required scale. A data entry means the required scale, which are actually meaningful for the factor analysis. And after this session, you will be able to execute and interpret the factor analysis with SPSS. So, there are different software. As I just mentioned you, there is R, there is Python, there is SPSS, there is SPSS modeler, Excel is there. So number of softwares are there, but the more important is that you should know that what are you doing, what actually you are doing. So anyways, let us take one small test from you. I shared one research paper in the morning to Komal ma'am, and I hope you might have got it, because there were certain questions from the researchers were coming that, sir, what is the benefit of using 5-point scale, 7-point scale, 9-point scale, 11-point scale? Why not 3-point scale or 4-point scale or 5-point scale? So I shared one good research paper, good research piece of work, where you would be able to understand, okay, that why should we go with the 7-point scale or 9-point scale or 11-point scale. So I'm asking you, those researchers who might have studied that paper, they would be able to answer this question, that what is the benefit of using 7, 9, 11-point scale rather than 3, 4, 5-point scale? Is it the option A is information retrieval is maximized? Number B option is internal consistency, which we can call it as a Cronbach alpha coefficient is high, or external consistency is maximized, or option D, it's not D, sorry, it's again typing mistake, it's D. I just added this MCQ. All of the above. So what do you think? What is the right answer? Can you please write in the chat box that what is the right answer? That what is the right answer? Why the researcher should go for 7-point scale, 9-point scale, or 11-point scale rather than 5-point scale? Yes, Gagan is absolutely right that D is the right answer, because when you are using 11-point scale or 9-point scale, then the information which you are seeking on the agreement or disagreement on basically the attitude scale, you are more able to take decisions. You are able to strategize. You are able to make strategies in the marketing research if you are conducting the research or survey. So obviously your information is maximized, your reliability is very high when you have a 9-point scale or 11-point scale or 7-point scale, and moreover external consistency is also maximized. And as you know, that Likert scale that has been developed in 1932 as a part of the doctoral dissertation of Mr. Rensis Likert, and it is called Likert. Some says it is Likert, some call it as Likert. Okay, so that is very, very important that when you are going to conduct the study, you should be very, very particular that whether you are going for 5-point scale, 7-point scale, 9-point scale. And I would appreciate, Archana, if you take a support of review of literature. Review of literature is something like you go in a Maldives and I ask you that you spend Maldives a week over there. And after that, once you came back and I asked you, Archana, that what have you seen in Maldives? And Archana gave me reply, कि sir, sorry, I was only at my home. I couldn't, visited the popular sites of Maldives. So it is something, I hope, Archana, you are getting my point. What I'm saying that it means that you went to Maldives, but you didn't see anything in what is there in Maldives. So it's very important that you take a support of review of literature whenever you face any question, any doubt related to sample size. I would likely to touch upon the sample size little bit for a 1 minute, because generally we take a wrong sample size. Sometimes we take a large sample size, or sometimes we do not select the adequate sample size. So always I would prefer that whenever you are taking a sample size or you are fixing a sample size, so always use a scientific approach, whether your population is finite or infinite, or whether your population parameter is known or unknown, whether the sampling frame is possible or not. When you are able to answer these 3 questions, then you are able to take the exact decision that what should be the adequate sample size. All right. So generally when your population parameter is unknown, then I would appreciate you could go for Cochrane's formula. Cochrane's formula is the most popular formula that is used in statistics to compute the sample size. But if your sampling frame is possible, population parameter is known, then you can go for a census survey. And there are certain tables are also given by the statisticians, by the researchers, through which you can take as a support while selecting the adequate sample size. And more importantly, when your respondent is homogeneous, even if you take a small sample size, that is also a meaningful. But so all these things are very, very important when you actually take a deep dive in the ocean and try to understand all the glitches of research. I have seen that researchers, they select sample size 500 600 sample size. What is the reason that why you have taken 500 sample size, 600 sample size? The same study can be done with the 250 sample size, 300 sample size, but you should have the clear citation. Okay, like here at all, or there are certain good researchers who have given that in the management researches, 250 to 400 sample size is adequate to conduct the research. So next, I'm going to take a small test from you. Please tell me, null and alternative hypotheses are prepared and considered for the target population or the sample or the sampling unit or all of the above. What is the right answer? I'm just taking your test always as well from the participants so that I could come to know that, okay, you are clear with the fundamentals. Because fundamental clarity is more important rather than the running a car. If you don't know, you just know, yes, A, very good. Very good, Amandeep, you are absolutely right that null and alternative hypotheses are always prepared and considered for the target population. Generally, researchers, sometimes the students also, this is question not from the researcher, but from the students of PG, MBA, MCOM. Okay, this question is meaningful for them. Of course, the doctorates, they know this thing, but my concern is that the type of audience maybe for MBA or MCOM guys. So null and alternative hypotheses are always prepared and considered for the target population. Now, give me one more question to you. Suppose there is a researcher and he's doing a dissertation on, study on, you can say the favorite type of TV program, TV program, and the category is, that is news, documentary, sports, okay, and all. And they are, the respondent is choosing. Please keep the mic mute. Kindly keep the mic mute, please. One participant.
Researcher see.
Please keep your.
Calculate करना ही नहीं कुछ को.
Dr. Manju Mittal, Madam Manju Madam, please mute your mic.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's a distraction comes. So they could choose one answer as a researcher had the number of categories of people who choose each category of program. How should the researcher analyze these data? Whether he's going to go for t-test, one-way ANOVA, or whether he's going to go for chi-square test, or whether he's going to go for the regression. Please write down the answer, please. Very good. Very good answer. Fantastic answer by Ambika Harshdeep. So from these questions, I am taking these questions deliberately to understand that whether the clarity has been there or not, whatever we have discussed. So which analysis comes under the inferential analysis? The last question I'm taking, which analysis would come under the inferential analysis? Is it univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis, or hypothesis testing? There are two types of analysis. One is descriptive analysis and the inferential analysis. Very good. Absolutely right. So inferential analysis is all about the hypothesis testing, which we have covered. That is the, that is parametric test and the non-parametric test. Now let us come to the factor analysis. So first of all, just little bit, I am touching the topic on reliability also, because whenever you are going to go for factor analysis, so first of all, you should go with the factor analysis only and only when your reliability is consistent. Okay, and you can check the reliability by using the method which is called the Cronbach alpha method, and which refers to the homogeneity of the group of items. All those items means statements. Statements means the statements which you have taken on a Likert scale, and those statements which are belonging to a latent construct. So that is something which we take decision whether the internal consistency is high or low. So I have given you this indicators that whenever your alpha value is No, validity is different. Teacher KCP, who is the, I don't know who is that person name, teacher KCP. The name is there. Please, validity is different. Validity, we check the validity of the instrument. We check the validity of the questionnaire. Okay, and we have the different validity, that is the face validity, content validity, construct validity, criterion validity, discriminant validity, convergent validity. Okay, those are different. Reliability is consistency, when you are getting the same results again and again. I tell you one good example. Suppose you go to buy a vegetable and you ask the vegetable owner to weigh 1 kg potato. So when he is putting the 1 kg potato in the weighing machine, so what is there? The weighing machine is showing 1 kg, and the another time it's showing 950 gram, and third time it is showing the same kg of potatoes, it is showing 800 grams. So what is there? What we can see? We can see that the inconsistency is there. The weighing machine which is used by the vegetable vendor, it is showing the inconsistency in the result. That is something which you can call it as a reliability of the scale, reliability of the machine, reliability of the equipment. Is that clear to you? Very layman example I just put in front of you. Anyways, so there are 3 types of reliability which we check. One is called the internal consistency. Second one is called the external consistency. External consistency is called like the inter-rater reliability. Whereas the internal consistency we check through okay, Indraveer, all right, sorry, I was not knowing your name, so it was mentioned, sorry to mention it. Okay, thank you, Indraveer, I hope you got my point. So the alpha value, Cronbach alpha, if it is more than 0.5, then it is unacceptable. Less than 0.5, it is unacceptable. And if it is greater than 0.6, it is questionable. But more, if it is greater than 0.7, it is acceptable. And if it is greater than 0.8, it means good. And if it is greater than 0.9, it is excellent. Then the second method of reliability is test-retest reliability. Test-retest reliability is very simply that the same questionnaire, you are administrating this same questionnaire to the same subject, but at a 2 different type of point of time. And then you are computing the score. And when there is a high correlation in the scores at the 2 different times, then we can say that there is a reliability. The reliability is good. Reliability is, you can say acceptable, and it varies from 0 to 1. 0 to 1 means the score, if it is close to 1, it means good reliability, but if it is 0, it means poor reliability. Okay, then the third form of reliability is called the alternative forms of reliability, where you frame the 2 different forms of questionnaire, where in which one form of questionnaire you have the descriptive questions, and the another form of questionnaire you are having the multiple choice questions. And then again you are administrating this questionnaire at 2 different point of time, and again over a period of time, and you are computing. And if the results obtained from these 2 questionnaires, they are equitable, then it means that that is consistent. But more importantly, you should be more concerned with the internal consistency of reliability, which can be measured from the Cronbach alpha method, and it should be greater than 0.7. And factor analysis is of 2 types. Please note down, factor analysis जो होता है वो 2 तरीके का होता है. That is exploratory factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis. EFA means whenever your objective is to determine, whenever your objective is to explore, whenever your objective is to identify. So in these type of objectives, you are always go for EFA method, where you are going, where the researcher is uncertain. Where the researcher is uncertain that how many factors that exist among a set of variables. But when you are taking the adopted scale, when you are taking the standardized scale, in the standardized scale, the researchers, please note down that in the standardized scale, you are not supposed to apply EFA. Please note down, you are not going to apply EFA, but more important, you are going to go for confirmatory factor analysis, because the constructs have already been established. The factors have been already been established by the various authors, like for example Professor Venkatesh. His popular model is TAB model, which was called the UTAUT model. Sorry, UTAUT model, and Professor Davis gives the model TAB model in. So that is something which already the factors are already established, and you are duly taking those factors which are called constructs. So in this, if there is a confirmatory factor analysis, then it is important to assess the construct validity. The concept of construct validity only will come when you are going to apply the CFA, confirmatory factor analysis. But in the EFA, you are primarily focusing on the exploring the factors. So what are the research questions? Research question means which type of studies are meaningful for the factor analysis. For example, how do consumers evaluate banks? Means what are the factors that determine the choice of private banks, or which determine the choice of public sector banks, or what are the factors that influence the choice of banking apps? So how people are having their purchase behavior with respect to Corona? So what are the factors that influence the decision making? What are the factors that influence the choice of purchase behavior with respect to the pandemic times, Corona times? So in these are certain research questions which are primarily require the importance of factor analysis. So generally in the research objective, we use the objective like to identify or explore the factors like influencing the green products. Yesterday I shared one very good paper with you all, that is from the Emerald, and in that very paper the author has applied EFA method, exploratory factor analysis method, which right now we are doing. So how factor analysis is different from the other technique? So one thing you should know, whenever factor analysis is very different from the ANOVA, it is very different from the discriminant analysis, it is very different from the regression. Why? Because in the ANOVA, regression or discriminant analysis, as a researcher, we used to take the decision to apply these techniques based on the independent variable and the dependent variable. Okay, based on the dependent variable and the independent variable. But in case of factor analysis, there is no distinction. There is no distinction between the, you can say, independent analysis and you can say dependent variable. Whenever there is no distinction, when there is no distinction is clear between the dependent variable, which is called the criterion variable, or the independent variable, which is called predictor variable in the research, then we have the technique which is called the factor analysis. And factor analysis is a multivariate analysis. Okay, and it is also called a interdependence technique. It is also called a data reduction technique. Why? Because in this technique we are going to reduce a large number of variables. Large number of variables means statements, the items, into a few number of factors. Okay, so it is also called data reduction technique. And I generally tell to my researchers also, to my students also, that a research begins with the correlation and ends with the regression. Correlation is denoted by R and regression is denoted by R square in the research. Okay, so EFA in the Professor Neeraj Kaushik has mentioned in the assumptions that in the exploratory factor analysis, you have the three important assumptions. One is the metric data. Metric data means intervals or ratio. So metric data means the interval scale, Likert scale statements. And more importantly, when you are going to apply factor analysis, multicollinearity must be present. Multicollinearity must be present. If the multicollinearity is not present among the variables, variable means among the statements, correlation must be very high among the statements. And third assumption is that there should be adequate sample size. Adequate sample size. Adequate sample size is also very important. Now, what should be the adequate sample size? The question comes. So the thumb rule is that 5 times of these statements, but it is not the universal rule of thumb. So you can again take the citation. You can please go through a review of literature when you are going for an adequate sample size. But rule of thumb says that some says it is 10 times of the items, or some says it is 5 times of the sample size. For example, if you have a 20 statements, so into 5, so your sample size should be 100. And moreover, the purpose of exploratory factor analysis is that obtaining the independent factors, means we are going to find out, we are going to identify the independent factors. Okay, and and the purpose is also called is also for the data reduction. So now I am going to tell you some of the applications of factor analysis in marketing. Please, the PG students, MBA students, please, this is for you people, that how can we take the decisions by using factor analysis in your company or in your organization. Number one is you can apply factor analysis for segmentation. You know, your faculty might have taught you the basis of segmentation in marketing. So what is the basis of segmentation? When you say geographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, benefit-based segmentation. So what is all about it? What is that? That is all the factor analysis. These are certain factors: geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, and on the basis of variables, we actually identified those segments. And then second question could be, the second application of factor analysis could be determining the brand attributes that influence the consumer choice. Okay, for example, you have certain items related to a smartphone, and you are working as a marketing manager in a Redmi or Realme company, and you are likely to launch a new brand, new product in the market, and you are more interested that which of the factors that influence the more the youth while choosing a smartphone. So obviously you can apply factor analysis here. Media consumption habits during youth during COVID-19, or you are going to identify the characteristics of price sensitive consumers. So these are certain applications of factor analysis in marketing. And more importantly, whenever your objective starts with to identify, to explore, to determine, so all these objectives, you are going to go for the factor analysis. So there is a process of factor analysis. First, you need to formulate the problem, which step I have already told you. Construction and examination of correlation metrics. I will show you through SPSS that your variables, the items should be having a multicollinearity. The item should have the correlation, high correlation among each other. Okay, and then we are going to select an appropriate factoring technique. Factoring technique means the principal component factor PCA method, or we have the PAF method. So we are going to go for principal component analysis method. Why? Because this method gives you the factor which are unrelated, mutually exclusive factors. When you are going to determine, then you go for the PCA method, principal component analysis method. And then as a researcher, you are going to take the decisions, the number of factors to be retained in the final solution. And then finally, you will rotate the factors for more, you can say, significance factors. And in order to take the interpretability of the solution, the output, and then finally, you will check the model fit. And this is actually the process which you are going to take in the factor analysis. So these slides are not very important. So this is very important, that there are certain terminologies which are used in the factor analysis. First is the correlation matrix. Please note down all these basic terms, because generally in your Viva, VOS of PhD or any dissertation, you can be asked by the expert that what do you mean by correlation matrix in factor analysis. Correlation factor is also called R matrix, the matrix which shows in the form of rows and columns, but it shows the variables, the items, and it shows the correlation between the items, among the items, that is called correlation matrix. Then you have the Kmo method. Kmo means Kaiser Meyer Olkin, which measures the sampling adequacy, means whether your data is fit for factor analysis. So generally, as a researcher, when your statistics is more than 0.6 or 0.7 and it is close to 1, then we can say that the measure of the sampling adequacy is there, and you can go for the factor analysis. Then the third is the correlation. Bartlett's test of sphericity. This Bartlett's test of sphericity actually determines the sufficient correlation is there among the items. So it is also called an identity matrix, and generally we write the null hypothesis that R is not equal to 1. R is not equal to 1, it means there is no correlation, and the alternate hypothesis means that there is correlation. So whenever this value is significant, that is less than 0.05, so null hypothesis, you can say null hypothesis rejected, and we prove that there is sufficient correlation. And then is commonality. Commonality means the percentage of variance that is explained by the factors. Okay, that I will show you in the SPSS also when I am going to go with the factor analysis. Eigenvalue का मतलब होता है the proportion of variance explained by each factor. Okay, generally we take greater than 1. The thumb rule is that eigenvalue should be more than 1. Okay, and then we have the Scree plot. Scree plot is nothing but a graph which actually showing you the number of factors to be retained. And then a very important basic term which we use in the factor analysis, factor loading. Factor loading का मतलब simply you can call it as a कि कौन से variable कौन से factor में आएंगे. A factor loading indicates how strongly what we can call it as how strongly correlated a measured variable is with that factor. कौन से variables किस factor में ज्यादा आएंगे और कितने परसेंट से ज्यादा होने चाहिए. That is called the factor loading, and we decide. Okay, so now these are some of the basic terms which are used in the factor analysis. So now let us take an example. So example is very simple. This is a one survey done by one of my student that is on the garment company, and he is going to say, for example, wishes to assess the attitude of the customer towards the garment product, towards a well-established product. And he has taken a list of 25 loyal customers. Let's say I am taking a very small example, but you can apply this example in 250 loyal customers. Okay, more than 300 customers to 25 loyal customer, and administered a questionnaire to them. And he used a seven statements, and which were measured on a 9-point rating scale. 9-point rating scale, starting from the very strongly agree to the strongly agree. So I hope I have shown you what is 9-point scale. 9-point scale start from the very strongly disagree to the very strongly agree. You can see on the above of the screen, I have put for your reference also. The 1 means very strongly disagree, 2 means strongly disagree, 3 means disagree, 4 means slightly disagree, 5 means neither agree nor disagree, 6 means slightly agree, 7 means agree, 8 means strongly agree, and 9 means very strongly agree. So this is the 9-point rating scale. So it is an interval scale, and these are the ratings given by the consumers. Okay, given by the consumers, and I have computed this on the data entry in SPSS. So these are the statements. These are the 7 statements which I have asked from the respondent, that price is a very important factor in purchasing. For marginal difference in price, quality cannot be compromised. If quality is okay, but competitor price of the same price product cannot be ignored. Quality products are having a high degree of durability. With limited income, one can afford to spend only a small proportion of, just a minute. Yeah, so small portion for cloth purchase. And then the 6th statement is that in the present world of materialism and commercialization, people evaluated on the basis of appearance. Okay, so these are certain statements which I am taking. Okay, the 7 statements. So I have first, very important thing is that you will first data entry in SPSS. सबसे पहले तो यही काम करना है हमें. You are supposed to do it that you will first put the all the statements, all the variables in SPSS. So I will get this type of statements. The statement number 1 means X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, X6, and X7. These are 7 statements. And 8, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, they are the ratings. They are the respondents' response on 1 to 9-point scale. Like for example, first respondent has given the 8 means your rating scale. Okay, then he has given 4 for statement number 2, 7 for statement number 3, 5 for statement number 4, 7 for statement number 5, 4 for statement number 6, and 7 for statement number 7. And please note down in your notebook, wherever you are writing, statement means items. Items are called statements. Items are called variables in when we go for the interval scale. Okay, once it is clear to you, and then we are going to go for the factor analysis. So very simple, whenever you are going to perform factor analysis, you are going to go to analyze. The steps is very simple. Go to analyze, and in the analyze, there is, in the drop down, it is written over dimension reduction. You know that factor analysis is also called dimension reduction technique. So you can click on the dimension reduction and then click on factor. Okay, factor, and you will select all the items. Items means your statements in the variable, in the variables, and then what will you do? You will click on descriptives. In the descriptives, you are going to select the univariate descriptives, initial solution. These are only the descriptive study. Descriptive means kya hota hai? Mean, median, mode is called descriptives. So you are going to take the univariate descriptives, initial solutions, and you are also going for the metrics. As you know that I started my session that whenever you are going to apply a factor analysis, there should be multicollinearity. That is one of the assumption of factor analysis. So in order to check the multicollinearity, we will click on the coefficients, and in order to check the adequacy of the sample size and the sufficient correlation, then we are going to choose the Kmo and Bartlett's test of scarcity. And the method, we are going to go with the principal component analysis method, because the purpose of principal component analysis is that इसका बैकग्राउंड एल्गोरिथम क्या होता है कि जो प्रिंसिपल कंपोनेंट एनालिसिस मेथड जब हम यूज करते हैं, इट एक्चुअली will produce the factors which are unrelated, which are distinct, and which are, you know, mutually exclusive, where R is 0. So we are going to go for the principal component method with one eigenvalue greater than 1. Obviously, we are going to retain the factors having eigenvalue greater than 1. Okay. This you are going to ensure in the factor analysis extraction method. Then you have the rotation method. In the rotation method, you always go for Variance method, where you are going to display the rotated solution and loading plots. Okay. And in the factor analysis, then there is certain options are also there, where you are going to suppress the small coefficient, means you are going to display the factor loadings, you know, not below 0.5, but above, you know, 0.5. So here you will also click on the sorted by size, means data ko sort kar de. Sorted by size is also you need to choose. Please, I forgot to write here, put the tick here. So this, it will sort the size and it will suppress the coefficients, means less than 0.5, it will not reflect in your output. And then you will get certain outputs. The first output, you will get the descriptive statistics. Simply you will get the mean, standard deviation, and the number of respondents. This is the first table you are going to, you know, reveal in the output file. Then the second is the correlation matrix. I told you that this is very, very important matrix, which actually tells you whether the assumption of multicollinearity is met or not. So always you go for, look for diagonal values. Each statement, like x1 statement, very high correlation. The x2, like, so diagonally you will check that you will come to know there is one means very high correlation. So you will also likely to show this correlation matrix in the output. So this will show you that there is some of the variables are highly correlated with each other to form a factor, because obviously it is a very common sense that if the items are not highly correlated, then it will not come under factors. Okay, it will not be able to form the factors. So if the variables are highly correlated with each other, then and then only the factors can be formed. And then you are going to you know, show the Kmo and Bartlett's test result also. 0.741, it is already, I told you, when it is 0.7, it is very adequate, measure of sampling adequacy. And the Bartlett test of sphericity, R is 0, that is null hypothesis. So 0.00 less than 0.05 significant. So we can say that appropriate, the model is, the data is appropriate to apply the factor analysis. Okay. So next, what we are going to do is, then after that you will go for communalities. Communalities, you will check. Generally, you will take in the communalities greater than 0.5, means 50%. More than 50% is acceptable. Like in the first communality is nothing what you can call it as a KMO of each statement, like x1 0.93, x2 0.67, x3 0.88, x4 0.69, x5 0.89, x6 0.86, x7 0.86. So it is the fundamental rule is that communality must be greater than 0.5 or more than 50%. Okay. And less community value is misfit. Simply, if your communality values, extraction values are less than, it is misfit for the factor solution, and we can be one can drop out from the factor analysis. And then there is a very important table which is called the total variance explained. Okay, total variance, the percentage of the variance explained by the factor. So you have the 7 statement, means 7 factors, but we are going to retain only the 2 factors which are having the eigenvalue greater than 1. Like this is the eigenvalue 2.200, 3.592. So we are going to retain these 2 factors. And the variance is calculated by this total divided by the number of the statements, multiply by 100, that is 51.31%. you can see here, and statistically you can come to know what is these all being computed. Okay, like now next we are going to go with the Scree Plot. Scree Plot is nothing but it is showing the graphical. So generally, whenever you are more than eigenvalue 1, like you can see here, the eigenvalue greater than 1, you have the 2 points like this one and this one. So these factors are to be retained, where the factors which are having the eigenvalue less than 1, so these are to be excluded. So you can show the factors to be retained in both ways. One is graphical way and one is the statistical way. The statistical way is total variance explained method, and the graphical method is called the Scree Plot method. Okay, so this is how you are going to show the, just a moment. Let me see in the chat box that are you people with me? Okay. Please write in the chat box that are you with me? So just 1 or 2 participants, so that I should come to know that you are listening and you are observing the things. Observe like a kid. Observe like a kid. Please don't be intelligent. जब भी आपको कुछ सीखना हो ना जिंदगी में, तो फर्स्ट अनलर्न योरसेल्फ. अपने आप को पहले जितनी भी सारी नॉलेज है ना आपकी, उसको पहले एक बार साइड में, जस्ट जैसे हम पेन ड्राइव को फॉर्मेट करते हैं ना, so you just format. Otherwise what happens is we have certain biasness with our knowledge. We think that we are right, other is not right. Okay, sometimes this happens also. So always unlearn, unlearn and learn. This is a very interesting model. I think the faculties who are into a psychology domain or HR domain, they know this theory also. Now next is the and good research is always supported by a good model, good theory. So that there is conceptual research and empirical research. Conceptual research is not based on evidence, and empirical research is based on strong evidence. When one variable is changing the another variable, when one variable is changing, influencing the another variable, that type of research is called the empirical research. So I'm just adding your knowledge also side by side, so that as a researcher you should know all these things. So then we have the component metrics. Component metrics, we have method is the principal component analysis method. So these are the components, the like x1 statements goes to the first factor, x2 goes in the second factor, x3 goes in the first factor, x4 statement goes in the second component, x5 statement go to the point, say the first statement, and x6 statement go to the second component. And then what we do, we go for rotated component matrix by using the Variance method. So it will actually rotate and will clearly allocate the statements in the clearly defined component. Like you can see that x1, x3, x5, and x7, now they are clearly coming in the first component, x2, x4, x6 are in the second statement by using the rotation method, which is called the Variance method. And then you are going to finally substantial interpretation. Here you have to show your logic. Logic means whenever you have got the two different components, you are supposed to give the name to these factors. Like for example, the first statement, the statement number 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, I am giving the factor that is called the economy seekers. Okay, I am giving this factor name called economy seekers. And then the second factor I am giving as a name called quality seeker. So ये मेरा एक subjective decision होगा. Here I am not going to get any result from the output, but you have to name. Yes, number of components are automatically decided. Madhuri, I will show you the process. Please don't be quick. We have a very sufficient time to complete this particular process. So factors can be named as economy seekers, and factors 2 can be named as a quality seekers. Okay, so this is, you are going to give the name to the factors. And when these factors are duly established, and if you are going to apply a confirmatory factor analysis, then it becomes your construct. अब इससे next जो advanced statistical जो आजकल latest studies में mostly I recommend my PhD students don't go for EFA method. I always tell them go for CFA, EFA and CFA, that is exploratory factor analysis, and the what we can call it as the if cross loadings are there, then you delete such statements. I'll let you know, Kiran Saroy. So what are you doing, that if the one statement is coming to the another factor, and one also the same statement is coming to the another factor, then we will do what we have to do. So what is more important? CFA, confirmatory factor analysis, where we have the IBM ka Amos software hai, and we have the smart PLS, okay, for formative scale and reflective scale, and for Amos is for the reflective scale. So anyways, the good research is now more supported with the statistical techniques like EFA and CFA. I hope you agree with me also. Now I would like to give you a demo of the SPSS, please. Just a moment, let me share the Achha, research is a known journey or unknown journey? Can you give me one question? It comes to my mind, this question. Nowhere it is written in any book. Research is a known journey or unknown journey? Can you please write? Research is a known journey or unknown journey? Let it be creative. Okay, just research is a known journey or unknown journey? Unknown. Very good. Very nice. I appreciate you people. Why? Because when you are unknown, you are more inquisitive. When you are unknown to something, you are more inquisitive to learn, and you are more inquisitive to gain, to bring new insights. That's fantastic response. Very good. Very good. Research is unknown journey. Okay. So from unknown to known, when this journey is called, this journey shift is from the unknown to known. Okay. Let us now go to the, I hope my screen is visible. You just write down the chat box that SPSS screen is visible. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'll take the statements. Statements means, whenever you are going to apply the factor analysis, you require these statements. And I am going to go for the statements. Just a wait, just a moment. So these are all the exercises you will get from the samples which I have shared with you. Yeah, problems, factor analysis. Right. Okay, now tell me, is the screen visible to you? Please tell me. Yes. This same problem which I have shared in the PPT, you are getting these are the responses. Yes, no, please. Okay. Now what should I do? First, I will check that is my variable view okay. देखो मैंने अभी कुछ नहीं किया. It is only incomplete. It is incomplete. You tell me what is missing in the variable view. Please tell me. You are researchers. Tell me what is missing in the variable view. मुझे क्या करना होगा? What should I do first? It is missing. Something is missing in order to execute the factor analysis. What should I do? Values. Very good. Values are not defined. Perfectly right. Yes. And even the labeling is not yet been done properly. Okay. So what I'll do, just a moment, I will do, it is a demonstration also for you so that you would come to know what we are doing. So, okay. What is the first statement? The first statement is that price is very important factor in purchasing. Now you look at in the, मैं one by one करूँगा, you will see. I'll just copy here. Okay. Price is important factor in, price is important factor. Abhi, let me just let's say do a copy paste. Quickly it comes. Then I think it will save our time also. Otherwise, the typing will take much of the time. Yeah, paste. I think in the screen share, the pasting is not possible. So what I'll do, anyways, I'll write the same labeling, that is the X1 and X2. You will do at your own. Okay, I'm just writing the same label. Label means I'm just giving the full statement name. Okay, so X5, you can do it at your own. Like you can put the whole complete label over here. X6. What is missing over here? Values is missing. So what is the first value I will write here? The first value means that is called the very strongly agree. Very strongly agree. So I'm writing here very strongly agree. Okay. And second means, what is the number 2? Can anybody help me? Number 2 is the strongly disagree. 2 means strongly disagree. Okay. And 3 means, what is 3? 3 stand for disagree. 3 stand for disagree. And 4 means 4 is our slightly disagree. Slightly disagree. Okay, and 5 means, this is a 9-point scale. So 5 means 5 is neither agree nor disagree. So we can write here not sure. Okay, so not sure we can write here. Okay, and sixth is the slightly agree. So we can write here 6 means slightly agree, and 7 means agree, and 8 means strongly agree, and 9 means very strongly agree. Okay, right? How many of you have now clear that what I have done? I have put the values, and then what I'll do, I will copy all these values and paste it over in all these statements, because these are all Likert statements or items. Yes or no? Please just write in the chat box that whatever I am doing, you are clear that what I have done. What I have done. Now the variable view is complete and data view is absolutely fit, absolutely fine. Okay. Now what I'll do is, sorry, is statement ko X7, right? Now what I'll do is, I will be now going for the this factor analysis. So what I'll go for, go to analyze. Please note down the step. Go to analyze, and then here it is written dimension reduction. Dimension reduction. It is written over here, dimension reduction. Step number 2 is, first is go to analyze. The second step is click on dimension reduction and click here on factor. In the factor, you will click all these statements. Statements means your items. Items means your variables. So you will take all the variables here, and then you will click on descriptives. In the descriptives means you can, if you want mean median mode, you can click on the univariate descriptives, coefficients, and Kmo and Bartlett test of scarcity. As मैंने आपको पहले पीपीटी पे सारे स्टेप्स दिखा दिए हैं. I have already shown you these steps. Do you agree with me or not? That I'm just showing you the demo. Already it is in the PPT which I have shared you the method, the process. Okay, and I will share you the PPT, this factor analysis, so that you cannot you can practice at your own also by following these steps. And then continue. Then go for extraction method. Extraction method is always by default principal component method, because we are going to apply the PCA method, because we want, as a researcher, we want that the factors should come, mutually exclusive factors should come, which are unrelated factor. हम वो factor, ऐसे factor चाहते हैं जो आपस में unrelated हो, जो आपस में unrelated हो और जिनका R जो है वो 0 हो. That is why we are going to use the method principal component method. And eigenvalue, मैंने आपको already बताया कि the rule is to take more than one. Then in the rotation method, we are going to take the method that is called the, which is method is Variance method. There are different methods, but we are going to go with the Variance method, rotation method. Rotation means ke, so that the algorithm which is there in the which takes place, it actually clearly defines that which of the statement goes into the which factors. So that's that method we are going to go with the Variance method. And you can also go for the loading plots, and then scores we are not going to save right now. But in case if you want to a confirmatory factor analysis, then obviously you are supposed to save these scores and then come to options. In the options, you will write sorted by size, and which of the absolute value you will define, that is I'll take 0.5. 0.5 say niche, I don't want to have the factor loading. So then I will go with the continue, and in the continue, once this process is completed, then you will click on OK. You will click on OK, and then the output will be generated. And now I am going to show you the output. Just a moment. The output is here. And before output, I will tell you one thing, that I have brought 5 books for you. And these 5 books, ebooks, I will share to Dr. Komal ma'am through email or by any drive. I will share to drive or something. So these are very good books which I'm going to give you after this session. One is on the Hare et al. One is the A to Z of social science research. One book is on the business research methods by Cooper, and one book is on the marketing research by Naresh Malhotra. So all these books will actually, and one I'm sharing with you, Andy Field. Andy Field book, I think it is one of the masterpiece which I'm giving you, and you please take time to read that book. Every clarity, everything, because we are all occupied in our jobs and in our scenarios, so we don't get much of the time to do. But whenever you get the time, please go and read that book, Andy Field. It is one of the fantastic book of statistics which I'm sharing to you all, and it will really, really help you in. Yes. Anybody? Yes, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, please. Okay, I'll share. And first is the descriptive. As I told you, descriptive means your mean, standard deviation you are getting in the descriptive statistics. Then is the correlation matrix. Correlation matrix, as I told you, that this assumption is very important in the factor analysis. And always see diagonally. Diagonally, you are getting 1, 1, 1, 1, very high correlation. So this condition, this assumption is also met. Whenever you are going to perform factor analysis, first you need to create a correlation matrix. It is also called R matrix, and your correlation should be very, very high. Okay, when and this is, and then more important is the KMO. The value of KMO should be, I already shown you in this is reliability. Please, KMO is nothing but it is the reliability. It is internal consistency which we are checking through a Cronbach alpha method, which is called KMO, that is 0.7. It is again, you know, it is if it is greater than 0.7, so it is always acceptable. So it is 0.741. So it is quite very good value. And Bartlett's test of scarcity will tell you the correlation is that there is correlation or there is no correlation. So if it is significant, it means there is significant correlation is there among the items. Next, we are going to show the total variance explained. टोटल वेरिएंस एक्सप्लेन्ड में मैंने बताया कि जितनी आइटम्स होती हैं उतने आपके फैक्टर्स बनते हैं. जैसे अभी आपके इस क्वेश्चन में 7 स्टेटमेंट्स थी, तो 7 फैक्टर्स, बट इन दी आउट ऑफ दी 7 फैक्टर्स वी आर गोइंग टू रिट्रीव 2 फैक्टर्स which with having the eigen value greater than 1, that is 2.200 and 3.592, because these 2 factors, they are explaining greater, you know, proportionate variance. Like first factor is 51.318% of variance is explained, and the second factor is contributing 31.43. So this is very important while we are going to retain the number of factors. So it's very clear from the total variance explained that the number of factors we are going to retain. And this is called the component matrix. So component matrix will actually tell you that these statement X1 PCA method. So these are the statements which are mutually exclusive, and these factors are mutually exclusive, like X1 0.965, 0.94, very X3 0.93. This statement is having negative. So this is creating a problem. This is something which is creating a problem, because whenever you would likely to have the factor loading, it should not be negative. It should be positive. Okay. And here in the X6, it is 0.919, X4 is 0.830, and X2 is 0.815. And this is the Variance method, rotation method. After rotation, we are getting certain change in the value, like here 0.920 and here 0.813. So now, but these are the 2 factors. These are the 2 factors which we are now going to retain. But more importantly, there is one challenge coming up, that in the 7th number statement, it is a negative. Now, how can we remove it? How can we convert this negative into positive? ये क्यों हुआ ऐसा? पहले इसके पीछे ना लॉजिक समझते हैं. ये लॉजिक ऐसा हुआ है कि किसी रिस्पोंडेंट ने हमें ऐसा गलत आंसर दिया है कि जो स्ट्रांगली जिसको हमने 1 पे जो हमने लिखा था कि that is very strongly agree, he gave the option that very strongly disagree. So your 1 becomes a 9 and a 9 becomes 1, because something, there is a problem in the 7th number statement, 7 number item. So what we will do, we can also have the way to do things right. What we can do, we will go to a transform, go in transform and click on the compute variable. Compute variable, here we are going to give a new item, like I am creating like one new X7 new, and I'm going to change into a positive into the negative into positive. What I will do, suppose it is a 9-point scale, so always take one high number minus and subtract the statement number 7, which is creating actually a problem in the negative. Now you are click on arithmetic and click OK. Once it is clicked on OK, just a moment. Sorry. Yeah. Once it is OK, then what will happen? A new statement has come. I'll show you. Again, I will show you the variable view. Then you will come to know what is happening. Yes. Now you can see that there is one new statement has created, X7 new. Are you able to see that X7 new has been created? Yes or no? Please, I think now we are going to take all these, the same values to X7 new, paste, and here we are writing X7 new statement for the identification I am writing here, and here I am taking scale. So now I will have to perform once again. मैं एक बार फिर से factor analysis को run करूंगा. I'll go to the dimension reduction factor, and in the factor all these statements. Now I am going to remove this statement X7, and I am going to take the new statement which I have changed, X7 new statement. And in the X7 statement, what will happen? This 1 will become the 9, and 9 response will become 1 automatically. You can see here also in the data view. You can say in the data view that your 1 has now, earlier it was X7 means 1 means now 1 has become your 9, and your 2 has become 8, and 3 has become 7, and 1 becomes 9. So this has been done by the system itself, by the factor technique. So now we are going to click on OK. Once you click on OK, so you'll get the output again. I will be showing you once again. I'm showing you the screen. Yes. Now you can see here, this is our descriptive statistics. As I already told you, this is our correlation matrix, R matrix. R means correlation. Yeah, simply every good research, मैंने आपको बता दिया कि good research begins with the R and ends with the R square. Correlation and the regression. And every technique you are applying, ultimately it is doing the regression means the impact, and correlation means the relationship. Okay. Now correlation is always, I told you, there must be a multicollinearity, and it is checked through R matrix. This is also called identity matrix. Then KMO value, it is 0.741. पहले कितना था देखें जरा, पहले भी 0.741 है, and now it is also 0.741, right? And then these are the commonalities. Okay, now come to the total, nothing would change, only come to the rotated component matrix. Now you can see that your negative has been converted into a positive, because ये सारी statements वो थी जो कि economy seekers के लिए, price sensitive seekers के लिए थी. So he has given yes, 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 but this statement was negative. So that is why we have converted into a positive statement by changing 1 to 9 and 9 to 1. Okay. मतलब जो भी उसने response 1 दिया, suppose he has given a 1 means very strongly disagree. So I converted it into a very strongly agree by using the method that is called the transform and compute variable. So now after this, you are getting these two distinct factors. Okay, one is called the X1. So I am showing you now through PPT that what we have done actually. So in the PPT, now you are able to see that this statement number 1 number statement went to the factor number 1. Statement number 2 has gone to the factor number 2. Statement 3 has gone to the factor number 1. And again, statement number 4 has gone to factor number 2. Statement number 5 has gone to factor number 1. And statement number 6 has gone to factor number 2. And state number 7 has gone to factor number 1. So these are the statements which variables, items, which actually having a reached, has gone to the factor number 1, factor number 2. And in this particular subjective interpretation, I am giving the name of these factors, and the name of these factors is, number 1 is, let's say, the first, try to apply the logic also. The logic says that जो customer मुझे ये कहेगा कि price is very important factor, or for marginal difference in price, or if quality is okay but competitor price of the same product cannot be ignored, and with limited income one can afford to spend only small portion for cloth purchase, and by paying more if we get good quality, why not to go for it? So from these statements I am getting the insights from this type of customer, that this type of customer is a price sensitive customer, and that is why I have given the factor 1 I am taking as a economy seekers. Economy seekers वो होते हैं ना, those customers who are price sensitive. They come under the category of economy seekers. So I am giving the subjective name to this factor that is called the economy seekers. And in the factor 2, I am giving the name to the factor number 2, that is the quality seekers. So these are the subjective substantiative interpretation which you people are going to do at your own, okay, with factor 1 and factor 2. Similarly, let's take another demo of factor analysis. Let me just share the screen with you, just a moment. Right. So I hope the SPSS is visible to you. Now I'm taking another demo file that is it is already given in the samples file, because I have already shared you. Let's take a demo file. Yeah, demo.sav. Yes. So here you have the age, profession, income, gender, residence, quality. These are the statements. So whenever you have such type of questionnaire, मान लीजिए आपने, this is a customer satisfaction study, and you have the age, you have the profession, you have income, you have gender, you have residence, you have the quality as a categorical variable, and then you have the certain statements. So these are items. These are called items. Now I am again giving you another demo on another file so that you can come to know that what actually is happening. So go in dimension reduction factor, and in the factor now you are only going to take only these items. Please do not choose the categorical variable in the variables while performing the factor analysis, क्योंकि factor analysis सिर्फ और सिर्फ Likert scale की items पे लगता है. Factor analysis सिर्फ और सिर्फ Likert scale पे apply होगा. It is not applied on the non-metric data, which is the nominal data or the ordinal data. अब एक यहाँ पे पता है आपको एक interesting मैं debate करवा सकता हूँ आपको next 10 minutes, but since I don't want to do, you know, मैंने कुछ books में पढ़ा कि Likert scale is an ordinal scale, but most of the time as a researcher we say that Likert scale is an interval scale. It is a big controversy between the researchers also, that whether the Likert scale is an ordinal scale or Likert scale is a, you know, the interval scale, because in the Likert scale order is also there, like 1 means strongly agree, 2 means agree, 3 means not sure, 4 means disagree, 5 means strongly disagree. So there is an order. So some of the books, it mentions that it is an ordinal scale, but some of the statisticians, some of the researchers, they mention it as that it is a Likert scale. It is a Likert scale given by the Rancis Likert in 1932 in his doctoral dissertation. See the contribution of Rancis Likert, that still we are following the same scale in the, you know, in our research. Okay, and next we are going to then we are going to take the descriptives. In the descriptives, as you know, we are going to select on the univariate, coefficients, Kmo Bartlett's test of scarcity, continue, then go in extraction. By default, it is principal component, eigenvalue greater than 1, rotation, Varimax method. We are going to go with the method and loading plots, and then we are going to take the options. In the options, we are going to sort by size, and we are going to take, let's say 0.4 से नीचे ये दिखाएगा ही नहीं हमें, ठीक है. Then this is the factor options. Now we are going to click on continue and click on OK. Once it is OK, now you are able to see the output. मैंने आपको 2 files पे आज factor analysis करके दिखाया है, because it is one of the very important technique, and it's my one of the, because CFA and EFA is very important now for a good research piece of work. अगर आप बहुत अच्छे papers publish करना चाहते हो, अच्छे journals में, अच्छे like Imral, Taylor, Francis, Wiley, जो मैं journals के नाम ले रहा हूँ, please, these are one of the most important, very highly renowned journals like Imral, direct science, Taylor Francis, Wiley, InterScience. Even InterScience is also a C category, but more importantly is Emerald, Wiley, Taylor Francis. Is it visible? Not visible. Like, how can it be possible? I'm sharing the screen. Dr. Jasprit, is it visible, the output? Okay, let me, okay. Just give me a 1 minute. Maybe let me again. Okay, now is it visible? Is it visible? Yes, yes. And one more thing, Gurmeet Harmandeep, I would likely to mention you, whenever you are writing a good research paper, always write in a thematic form. Always write in a story form, okay? Means write in a story form. Generally, researchers, they write in a narrative form, in a paragraph form, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems like a paragraph, like we used to write in the paper or answer sheets. Don't write like this way. Write in a story form, thematic form, based on the themes, and use directional hypothesis. Please use directional hypothesis in your research paper, in your thesis. Okay, go for, and directional hypotheses are always one tail. Okay, go for directional hypothesis, and look for the thematic type of form of writing the research paper. And you can also use a meta analysis. Meta analysis भी एक अपने आप में एक बहुत important analysis technique है, through which you can bring a good piece of paper. Then you have the qualitative research also. You can apply good एक software मैं बताता हूँ आपको, आप note करें, NVivo. NVivo is a very good software which is available for 14 days, और उसके tutorial भी already is there in the software. It's very simple, and you can easily learn those tutorials and can apply those qualitative research. I'll write here NVivo. NVivo software. NVivo is for particularly for the qualitative research. Okay. And but SPSS and AMOS and the Smart PLS, they are for the quantitative research. Now, next we are going to cover the descriptive, like you can see now, descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics, I already told you, mean, standard deviation, and the analysis, the number of respondents, that is the enemies, the sample size, that is 243. And then you can see the correlation matrix. Now you can see the correlation matrix diagonally, that each of the statement, you can see it is having a very high correlation is there. So this condition is also met. Now in the Bartlett test of specificity, very good result, excellent, 0.92, means it is close to 1. Very fantastic response, that 0.928. So measure of sampling adequacy is there, and your p value is significant as per the Bartlett's test of sparsity. So sufficient correlation is there. Then this is the commonalities table, and this is total variance. So now there are 21 statements were there. So out of these 21, these 4 factors have been retained. The factors which are having more than one eigenvalue, like 1.104, 1.431, 1.764, 9.551. So this is the total variance explained by each factor. And then we will go for the component matrix, but don't, whenever you are going to report, go for rotated component matrix. In the rotated component matrix, you can see that some of these statements are coming, these 5 statements are coming in the 6 statements are coming in the first factor, and these are coming in the second factor, and these statements are coming in the third factor, and these statements are coming in the fourth factor. So now you can clearly, you can show the, I think मैंने कुछ select करना भूल गया हूं मैं. Yeah, so you can just, now you can take a subjective interpretation that what are these 5 statements, and what are these 5 items, behavioral intention, and these. So this way you can go for the what we can do is the factor analysis. So I hope the factor analysis technique, how to execute, and you came to know that this technique is very important, because in this particular technique there is no difference between the independent variable and the dependent variable. Only the researcher requires the data, primary data, on the Likert scale, on the items, on the statements. Okay, and on the statements you can going to retrieve the factors, you are going to identify the factors. और जब मेरा EFA हो गया तो उसके बाद में मैं CFA पे जाऊंगा, because now my factors have been explored. Now I am going to confirm the factors. अभी तो मैंने explore किया है ना रजय, I've just explored the factors. Then what I'll do, I will confirm the factors from by using IBM Amos or Smart PLS software, whether these factors are having whether these factors are confirmed. For that is I'll be going confirmatory factor analysis by applying a method which is called structural equation modeling, and SEM is equal to path plus regression. SEM is nothing but it is equal to path plus regression. So this we are going to execute in the through Smart PLS, or generally just to note down that Amos works for the reflective scale, and the Smart PLS is very robust. मुझे तो अच्छा ज़्यादा Smart PLS ही लगता है rather than Amos. So it's up to you. It's you as a researcher कि आपको कौन सा software ज़्यादा convenient है. So it is you. You know, some people like Maruti Suzuki, some people like Hyundai, but both fulfill the same purpose. Okay, it is for the convenience. So you have to see that in which of the software you are more convenient to apply. So I think this is all about the factor analysis, dear participants, and 5 books I will share with you today through Dr. Komal ma'am, and few good research papers I will share with you today, and then very important. That's it. I think there is no many things. बहुत कुछ है. There is visualization of the data is also there, and a lot of things are there. But anyways, I think things are very clear to you that we started our journey with the type of scale, and we ended up our journey with the factor analysis, followed by the discriminant analysis, followed by one-way ANOVA, followed by one sample t-test, followed by the independent sample t-test, followed by chi-square test, followed by discriminant analysis, followed by good questionnaire, followed by scaling techniques, paired comparative scaling technique, and non-comparative scaling techniques. So thank you very much. That's it, and that's all. Thanks a lot. Over to you, ma'am. I think we have just 5 minutes. So I want that one good snapshot of all the participants, so that it would be my piece of memory and piece of good intellectual participants, those who chatted with me a lot. कुछ कईयों ने तो बिंदास क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं कि मेरे पास जवाब ही नहीं था, मुझे पढ़ना पड़ेगा और पढ़ूंगा मैं. I will read more, study more, and always accept it to learn more. Yes, ma'am, over to you, please. I want that we all participants on the camera. Okay, over to Komal, ma'am. I think I am now behaving like a host. Okay, thank you. Over to you, Dr. Komal, ma'am. Yes.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, ma'am. Sir, you haven't shared your contact details.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. मैंने एक slide बनाई है भाई end में. That's a moment.
Sir, we won't let you go like this.
Yes. I'll shake you now. मैं सबके साथ हाथ मिलाऊंगा अभी. देखिए. Let's see. Yes. I hope I'm shaking hand with all the participants. Yes, agree? Yeah, yes. Now you can take my contact number and my phone number, my email ID, official email ID, and you can contact me through phone. Surely. 750-800-5150. That's my number. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Very good evening to everyone. I'm Dr. Komal Randhawa, Deputy Dean Research and IPR Cell, Khalsa College, Patiala. Today marked the last session of this 1-week workshop on research methodology, which was conducted with the singular objective of training, reorienting, and reactivating the research scholars on research methodology. I'll begin by thanking our respected principal, Dr. Dharminder Singh Ubba, and Dean Research, Dr. Ravinderjeet Singh, for their constant support and commitment in making this workshop a roaring success. Now, I will not mince my words in thanking Dr. Pawan Kumar for shedding light on developing a sound methodological base of research among us budding educationists and researchers so as to cope with future challenges, which is surely the need of the hour. Now, the workshop proved to be fruitful owing to you, Dr. Pawan,
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
commitment and your perseverance in taking the extra pain to clear the research concepts need a special mention. And looking at the level of interaction and queries, we are sure that the participants had some value addition to their research acumen as well. And of course, I express our appreciation to all the participants for enthusiastically attending this workshop and making it a splendid success. It was an absolute pleasure for the organizing team comprising of Dr. Aman Sidhu, Dr. Amanpreet Singh, Dr. Parampreet Kaur, and Dr. Harsandeep Pangu to host this workshop, and hopefully we will come up with many such workshops in the future. Lastly, all the videos of the various sessions will be uploaded on Khalsa College Patiala YouTube channel. The participants can refer to them. The certificates of the workshop will be issued to the participants after filling the feedback form, which will be shared shortly. So thank you once again to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Dr. Komal ma'am, Dr. Parampreet, Dr. Aman sir. Very warm regards to Dr. Dharminder Singh Ubba, Principal Sir, Khalsa College, Patiala. And indeed, it was really a good experience and learning experience for me to interact and to have, guiding the already enlightened participants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. And have you taken the snapshot of all the participants as I mentioned?
Yes, sir. I think Harsandeep ma'am was doing that. She must have done that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am,
Thank
I
you
have taken.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So I will share
Thank you.
that with you shortly.
Sure. Ma'am, I will
And
share you the
everyone-
material.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
And everyone, please be patient. The system can generate a certain number of certificates in a day. So you will get your certificates within a day or two. So just fill the feedback form and we can get on with it.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
everyone.
okay, ma'am.